Welcome to Persuasive Writing Part 2. In Part 1, some of the different elements we looked at were synonyms for persuading, why even write to persuade, how to create a goal of a persuasive argument, the difference between arguing and convincing, appealing to the reader with logos, pathos, and ethos. We also looked at creating a powerful introduction for a persuasive essay using GESVA. And the structure of the essay would move on to paragraph 2 with reason 1, paragraph 3 with reason 2, paragraph 4 with reason 3, and finishing off with paragraph 5, the conclusion. Then I asked you to take a look at 2 powerful persuasive historical speeches. The first was by Abraham Lincoln, and I asked you to look for GESVA and some other powerful elements in this speech. So you may have identified that starting out, Abraham Lincoln gets your attention by hearkening back to America's founding. And so that's his way of grabbing the reader's attention or the listener's attention. Next, he establishes the need for the reader or the listener, and then he satisfies the need. He moves on to visualize the future, and then finally, he has a call to action at the end. I also asked you to take a look at the I Have a Dream speech by Martin Luther King Jr. You'll notice that his beginning harkens back to Abraham Lincoln's speech and the founding of the country. So that's a powerful way to grab the listener's attention and hear the reader's attention. You'll notice that he establishes the need, and he takes a lot of time to do this. You might notice he uses repetition to really bring his powerful point home. As he moved on, you may have noticed he does more repetition, he does more establishing of the need. And you'll notice that there's a lot of visualizing here as well in his speech. Here, Martin Luther King Jr. is talking about solving the problem. He's offering a solution, and that's the S portion of GESVA. He does take into account the other side. He takes into account the counterargument. So that's another powerful point that he does. He does a call for action here. And he visualizes the future, and he uses repetition here. More visualizing. Now let's move on to how to build the individual paragraphs. We talked about with paragraphs 2, 3, and 4, the reason paragraphs. You want to offer a choice, talk about your reason, give an example to really bring this home to your reader, and give an explanation. Let's talk about building an argument. It's important that you state the reason that supports the main idea in your topic sentence. Make it clear for your reader. You should have supporting details. You should have examples that support your details as evidence. And we really want to make a connection between the example and the supporting detail clear. Finally, you should have a concluding sentence, and that's tying back to your topic sentence. Counterargument. This is very important to make the reader feel like you have a balanced argument. Some people get confused and believe that a counterargument is just the argument for the other side. But it's not. It should counter the argument brought up by the author or the other side. And let's move on to more about counterargument. Here's one method you could use to set that up. Although, then state your argument, some may believe, and then state the alternate argument. For example, although Rome had a more complex civilization, some may believe Greece was more advanced. Now your conclusion. It's important that you summarize the main points and make sure you have a call to action. Really inspire your reader to get involved in some way, whether that's with an opinion or an action of some sort. And challenge the reader to continue to think about your position. Get your reader involved. Now, here's a graphic organizer that you may use to set up your persuasive essay. When writing your introductory paragraph, this is another organizer that you might use. Here's an example of a body paragraph organizer, and for 2 and 3. And then finally a concluding paragraph organizer. And here's an example using ancient Mesopotamia. And you can see that all of these elements will just bring you a very powerful persuasive essay.